Good morning to everybody but Kyle Westwood out there. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm not bad at all there. We're about to see a standing start for the third time
of
here
the
today.
F1 Demolition Derby.
It is. It's a very expensive race here today.
Wow.
If you're watching out
Wow.
there, man, somebody asked me, what's going on here? I said, a lot of people emptying their pocketbook.
A lot of people.
Woo-hoo!
The Racing Point car just went up in flames. It's destroyed. Sainz's car's destroyed.
Giovinazzi's destroyed. Max Verstappen
Destroyed. Did he get into Raikkonen?
I think Raikkonen did have a little damage. We saw a couple front wing exchanges there with Vettel and a couple other guys.
Right.
So, man.
The F1 junkyard would be busy.
Michael Joseph says the red flag fiasco.
Yes.
That's a good way to put today. But, hey, what a way to kind of come off of a very energetic week there at F1. And then, boom, you got it coming here. So, pretty entertaining, pretty interesting there. You gotta like it. I mean, unfortunately, right now the Mercedes are gonna start 1-2, but the big storyline right here is Ricardo in third.
Yeah,
the Honey Badger's ready to do some pouncing here.
Honey Badger don't give a. Yeah.
Right, Kyle. You don't. I'm just telling you to watch the race, not to. Right now, you gotta watch. he's a huge NASCAR fan. Everybody.
He's
Kyle
a Jimmy Johnson fan.
So I told him. I said, hey. Your boy's moving over to IndyCar here next year. You might want to start watching your new love now. That's open wheel racing. I know it's not IndyCar, but hey, it's open wheel. Start to get used to it now because he's a coming. So a lot of
he's going to Ganassi.
Oh, I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about here today. You guys, thank you so much. As always, you can tune into
www.bwsports1.com for all the happenings for us right here at Checkers and Wreckers. Our brothers over at the Black and White Sports Show. Super kicking it with Steve. Fantasy Bros. I mean, it's got everything.
All over the place.
It's got everything.
I love it. I did a little fantasy action myself. We'll see how it turns out today. I'm not the best. Since I've been doing this big racing ordeal, I haven't been watching too much football outside of my Cowboys here. So if you're into the NFL, obviously that starts today. You check out the Black and White Sports Boys for that because we are on it with some racing here today.
Speaking of racing, let's jump into some.
Kyle's upset. Kyle's a huge NASCAR fan. Oh, you got him. You got him going this morning.
that's gonna get good right there. But let's jump into some local racing real fast.
Yeah,
we'll go ahead and cover that. Last night was the 3-hour figure 8 endurance at Speedrome, which is right down the street. Congratulations to Jesse Tunney. Jesse Tunney comes away with the win. Congratulations to Sam Breedlove Racing, which is the car owner. And what was on the tires?
Probably Mojo, I'm guessing.
Mojo
made them go.
Yep.
I saw it was like 461 laps.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got done last night. So the record is over 500.
Mm-hmm.
Is it over 600? Because there was one year they said that the time didn't count for the yellow flags. So
that's
that
something
just stacked up the green.
If Jimmy was on here, we could ask him. He would know.
Something tells me G Powell would know too.
He might, but I guarantee you Jimmy would. But speaking of the Speedrome, some more big news broke out this week. We can go ahead and throw it out here because the cat's out of the bag now. The owner, I believe his name's Kevin Garrigus of Speedrome, bought 40 acres of land from Marion County Fairgrounds property, which is just right over here as well. And he's planning on putting in the largest dirt track in the state. And he's not going to have just one dirt track. He's going to have 2 dirt tracks and a dirt figure 8.
That'll be interesting. So it's all going to be tied in together. So
yes.
This one track is going to have all of this.
Yes.
So you're going to have a big oval, a small oval, and a figure 8 all combined. That's going to be some fun nights there. And they said what they're going to do is keep it separate from the Speedrome there. So if something's racing at the Speedrome, you won't have anything going on here.
Right.
So I like it.
I do too. I do too.
Not a full week. But we're going to get a lot more racing here locally, and we're going to get a good dirt. And I think you were saying...
He was talking about he wants to get the Lucas Oil Series and the World of Outlaws Series. And, possibly that track could hold a race for Indiana Sprint Week, Indiana Midget Week. I'm excited. I mean, because we don't have a dirt track locally. Closest dirt track's what, an hour drive for us?
IMS, if you can count that, but that's a small.
And it's one time a year.
Right, exactly.
I
wish they would go there for midget and sprint week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fantastic track for that. You're not going to put a late model on that track by any means, but man.
But I think that's awesome. I mean, we're gonna be able to go dirt races now on a regular basis, and I'm stoked.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that'll be some fun there. I know some people are excited about that. Like you said, though, I mean, that's a lot of competition because you've got Kokomo, you've got Lawrenceburg, you've got 69, you've got
Brownstown.
There's another. What's the one in
Lincoln Park?
Is that Lincoln Park?
I don't.
There's one down by Martinsville. But Gas City then.
Gas City.
I mean, you got a lot of good tracks here in an area. So, I mean, I'm excited for it. I think that'll be good. And these guys know how to hold these racing, these races here. It's not like you're getting a new time or a new owner.
Right. He's not new to racing.
Exactly.
I mean, he already has an established racetrack going right now. If you've ever been out to Speedrome.
Paragon.
Thank
you, Tim.
Yeah. But you know, if you ever been out Speedrome, they pack the house out there. I mean, right now with COVID, you know, they have their restrictions.
It was packed for the restrictions. Because I saw videos, and you saw before
he got the fine.
Right. So after that, I mean, it looked crowded, but it was spaced out there.
Right.
So I mean, they did what they could, and then they had that low budget TV that you posted on the page there.
Yep.
That's a good little way to check out what you got going there as well. So
yeah, and you know, if you can't make it to the track, they also have that Speedrome TV.
That's a low budget TV.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can get on there, and you have to pay to watch the race, but I think it's $12 or $13 or something like that. So I mean, invite a bunch of friends over, sit around, and watch the races.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Michael Joseph said, "Now that's some good news right there. That's good news. Good news. Good news."
Yep.
Hey, we're brightening up a week here, starting off the week on a good foot here this week here. So not many weeks you can say about that in 2020.
No.
F1, the owners definitely ain't saying that this week.
No, not at all.
So, oh goodness. Let's talk a little go-karting.
Okay, let's do it.
So yesterday we were out at Whiteland, and we had an absolute, or I shouldn't say we. I had an absolute blast out there yesterday. I got into the grass monster grabbed me during my practice. I got a little tight out of a turn and went right off into the grass there and got a barricade.
It happens. Yeah, it happens.
Fixed everything I needed to do, and I got out there for my heat. Like I said, the clutch, unfortunately, I think I need to do a little work on that. But man, some of these guys are really fast out here at Whiteland. These guys, I mean, they're putting out nationals. I mean, they're going to nationals in these 206s, and that I'll tell you what, if you haven't gotten into racing before and you really want to look into it, I really think that 206 is just a fantastic series.
It really is. I mean, you take a lot. I mean, yeah, you can still blueprint the motor technically, but when they blueprint the motor, they're not doing a whole lot to it. They're not getting in the crankcase whatsoever.
Right.
They're not doing anything with the cylinder or anything like that. You know, they may lap the valves in a little bit better and do a little cleaning up, basically.
Right.
But, yeah, for a good 206, you're talking $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
For a brand new one. That's ready to go besides clutch and motor mount. So, bang for the buck. You really can't beat it. It's a competitive class. It's you know, it all comes down to handling of the chassis and driver.
Right.
You pretty much take the motor out of the equation.
Right. Absolutely. And it's just so much fun there. I mean, we had 21 drivers in my class. Daniel had 18 in his. So that's a good amount of drivers there for a smaller track. Excuse me. My goodness. But yeah, that you've been there. That track can get tight.
Yeah.
With a good amount of carts out there. So, but right now I'm just trying to find my lines, trying to get that time under me. I was fast there, but like I said, that clutch had just got soft, and my brake was so soft there. But I'll tell you what, it was a bit of unfortunate with, obviously you don't want bad brakes, and I was dealing with that all day, but it taught me how to really whip that hairpin, because I had to use the cart more than I could use the brake, because I didn't have much brake there. And that hairpin has been in the back of my mind since I was 14 years old, and I told you that story.
Yep.
And I just threw it off. So ever since then, I have never been fast in that corner. I finally found my speed yesterday, and it's because a little unfortunate, or a little unfortunate there, I should say, with a brake. Had you ever had anything like that kind of teach you a lesson when in racing?
What, when brakes go out?
Not necessarily brakes, just kind of a little bit of misfortune that turned out to be a learning lesson, but it worked in your favor. Like, not that I hit the wall and I learned how not to hit the wall, but like I said, with the brakes, like kind of, they didn't fail on me. They were just really hardly there. So I had to learn how to break up, or back braking points up, and still stay, not to jump over anybody, but
we ran Whiteland, and when we ran the track backwards. Yep. Every now and again they would throw, and this is the old track, not when they put the high bank in and all that. It's the original track.
I love the high bank.
But so they decided they were running the track backwards that night, and I was still fairly new. I think I'd been racing for maybe a year, and go out there, we race. I go to come in the pits, go to slow down, no brakes. I mean, nothing. So I'm like waving my arms, trying to tell people to get out of the way. And there used to be a big concrete slab in the middle of the pitch. You can ask Kanowski about it. Well, when I come in, I hit that concrete slab and it stuck up a little bit. So it stopped me, but it also broke my chassis right there too. So, but I guess what I learned was stay off the freaking brakes.
You heated them up.
Yeah, that's what it was. I got them too hot and it boiled the fluid out. But that, and that's just it's racing is a learning curve. Like you guys are experiencing right now. You're gonna go through ebbs and flows, like you like to say.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's all a learning process, and 3-4 years down the road, there's going to be a guy coming up to you, hey man, how do I do? Oh, you just do this, and then you guys will have it down, and you'll know what you're doing.
Absolutely. But it was actually fun though, because like I said, I'd been grandmaing that around the turn for the longest time. So this time I was able to really whip it and really get a feel for what speed felt like around that corner, because I had to use, like I said, the tires to really slow me down, because the brake wasn't doing its job.
Well, but seeing you guys are coming into the hairpin backwards, the configuration you were running, right?
No, we were going. That was the full long track. That you got speed. You're full out around.
Okay, and then you come down here, and then you're coming into the hairpin the regular way.
Yes. So you're going off the bank into the hairpin.
Now, see, there used to be, and there again going back to the old track, and you come through the sweeper, which the sweeper now leads into the high bank. But then you would turn down. There's a little kink right there. And there used to be, right on the track, on the very edge right here, there was like a bump. And you could hang your left front tire over that bump and kind of dump it in the grass right there a little bit. And it would set you up perfectly for the hairpin. It would upset the cart just right, and you would shoot the hairpin perfect every time.
Right. and that's kind of like that bump steer or something like that, So it's fun finding those little deals there. He said Whiteland used to be smooth in a fast track. Oh, this track, I mean, it's seal coated now.
Yeah, it's all new paved.
Oh, it's nice. Very nice out there. It is. I mean,
I like how they've done where they can have multiple configurations. I do like that.
I think there's like 50 some configurations.
Which, like how Newcastle is too, and that's the way to do it. If you're going to have a track like that, you need to be able to run several different configurations.
Right.
And so I do like that standpoint of it. I don't like that high bank. I think that was dumb, but which Andy and Sarah wasn't the ones that put it in there. It was in there when they bought the track. But I get it why they did it for the rental cart, because kart tracks don't make a whole lot of money, so you got to have a pretty good rental cart business.
Right.
But I understand why they put it in there, but the old track's where it's at.
See, like I said, it's repaved and everything like that. It is a lot smoother than what I can remember it being back when I was 13 years old playing or racing out there. So man, it was just absolute blast there yesterday. But yeah, like I said, Daniel caught going into the high bank, man. It's like a ghost, just blew him, just pushed him over into the.
Well, with that seat mount breaking, that's what did it. It upset the cart and the weight shifted.
Well, that's the only thing I can think of, because I don't know, obviously, if it broke in the incident after he backed it into the wall, or if it broke before. I am thinking it broke before.
That would make sense.
It shifted his weight.
Yep.
And because at that point, I mean, but like I said, I shouldn't laugh because he's all right, but. It's your brother. You kind of find humor in this afterwards, just he did me, but he said backwards. So I heard the announcer, "Oh, somebody's in the wall hard." I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, don't be Daniel, don't be." Oh,
it's Daniel.
It's Daniel. It's like, darn it. And he was racing side by side with the guy for a good amount of time, and you could tell where the gearing was on the carts, because he'd catch him on the straights, Daniel would. And then that guy would be able to catch Daniel throughout the little 2 hairpins. So
he was pulling better off the turns and in the slower stuff,
right.
Which, that's I don't know what that guy weighed, but with Daniel giving up some weight, and I told him before
that guy was pretty. I mean, he was about your size,
okay.
Honestly. So,
but that's what kills you, being
right.
overweight's in the turns. Once you get that momentum going,
right.
It doesn't hurt you as bad as if you're getting on and off the throttle. That's what's going to really kill you. But that guy, he could have had his clutch all worked up. Maybe that's why he was pulling off the turns better.
Right, exactly. Yeah, just a little bit different gearing, something like that, really. So that's what I need to figure out, a way to go out and really find the gear that is a good baseline for the track, because I think I had it yesterday, but he said that was a driver issue.
Okay. Hey, at least he admits it. Right. At least he admits it.
Yeah, I saw him a couple times
you have to
out of the corner doing that, trying to get it going.
And there again, it's a learning curve. You have to learn where your weakest spots on the track are at and work to improve that. Work to get you and the cart going through that turn better if that's where you're losing some speed.
What I would do is, because I got passed by the leaders in the feature, and at that point, there's a pack of 4 of them, and I've got a pretty good distance behind me to the rest. So I just tucked in behind them and try to follow them around as well as I could to hit their lines and hit their marks. Obviously, they're hitting the right ones, and I really feel like that helped me. So I'm excited. The bump air backwards had to stop.
But speaking of continuing on with kart racing, last weekend at Newcastle Motorsports Park, they had their first night race.
Nice.
And Mark Dismore
cool
went out and rented lights and everything like that, and they had a good turnout. So
that was their first ever?
I believe so.
Because they've done endurance races there, right?
Yeah, but those are they did do a 24-hour, 12-hour, whatever it was. So I guess technically, but as far as a KRA points paying race, that was their, I believe, first KRA points paying race, night race. But Dad was talking to Mark Dismore about it, and he's like, yeah, we probably won't do any more this year, but I think we're going to plan on doing some more next year. So I enjoy the night racing.
It was cool, yeah. That's what last night
that's
was.
That's what we did.
Us,
I mean, it was always Saturday night, which we didn't race till Saturday night, but we always got the track at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, so you'd be there all damn day.
Right. That's what we had. He did. He got him. Alvon just took away it from Rick. But so last night, what I did notice at a night race is I got fog on the inside and I got bugs on the outside, and I could hardly see a thing.
You got to get some. I don't remember what it's called. I had some. It's like anti-fog. You put it on the inside of your shield,
right? And then I need some anti-bug on the outside.
Those are called tear-offs.
Yeah, I know. Rain-X.
Yeah, just invest in some tear-offs.
I didn't realize how bad that would be, but yeah, you definitely lose a little bit of visibility when you're fighting that battle. So,
just if you get tear-offs, don't do like I did one time. We're up at Road America, going. There's just crap all over my shield.
You ripped them all off.
I grabbed a loop to pull one off. Whoop! There goes all 15 of them.
Hopefully, it was late in the race there. So. Yeah, we'll move on now to, we got F1 finishing up. It looks like Hamilton's going to take this one. I don't see.
Well, duh.
Right. Any other way
so
Bottas can get to him. So
we can go ahead and talk about some of the news that broke this week in F1.
Yeah.
So what was it? Perez announced that he's leaving Racing Point at the end of the season. And Sebastian Vettel, same day, signs with Racing Point.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're getting a strong driver. I think he's good to be in there to develop the car. He's
right.
been, in the Red Bull. He's been in the Ferrari, so he's got some experience in different cars. And if you want to further develop that car, because Racing Point's right on the verge of being one of those top-tier teams in F1. So, and then, what is it? It got pushed back, so is 2022 when they're breaking out the new car?
Correct, yep.
So you have one more year of pretty much the current car. There'll be some tweakings on it, but if you sign Vettel for a couple years, then once in 2022 you get the new car, then you got that veteran driver to help adjust and dial in that new car.
Well, not only is he a veteran driver, he's an engineer as well.
Yeah.
He's got an engineering degree.
And he's a former champion.
Right, exactly. But that helps so much the like that engineering degree there. I mean, to have that behind you, and like you said, that's what I read too, is they said right there it was really their driving factor was him being able to set that car up.
Mm-hmm.
So that really helped to gain that. They're catching them here. We got Bottas catching up to Hamilton, which is catching, or Albon's catching both of them. It's coming down quick here, but but what I was gonna ask there is, where do you think this puts Perez? Because I have an interesting situation.
Where does it put him, or where would I like to see him?
Both. Where does it put him first? What do you think there?
Well, as far as F1, it pretty much puts him out unless somebody at the end of this season gets fired and hey, we need a driver. Sergio Perez available.
There's a lot of open seats right now. When I was looking at the people that have signed, a lot of open seats.
So, maybe he does end up in, he's not going to go to one of the big teams because their drivers are pretty much full. McLaren's got both their drivers signed. So that leaves you with, maybe AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Williams. So, I mean, would you really want to go to one of those teams? I mean, coming from where you're at now, I don't think I would want to. So I don't know if we see him back in F1, but where I would like to see him, IndyCar. That's where McLaren's talking about putting a third seat.
Yep, they did.
And you have one of your fellow countrymen already running for McLaren and IndyCar. Perfect fit.
They told him too that if you do not get a ride here in F1, then we have one for you in Indy. Does he want to take it? We'll see. But here's and this all depends on the finish right here, because my guess before, if you will, or my hypothesis, is that if Albon does not take a top three, Albon could be out of Red Bull. He's not signed. Perez could take that seat at Red Bull. I could see he's a solid driver.
Oh, see, I thought Albon was signed till next year.
He's not. So
okay.
If now though that he's sitting in a top three, he's got a good run here putting together. If he catches second, he's 2 seconds off. It looks like we could be talking different. But with the new regulations coming, Alfa Romeo doesn't look too unappealing. So would you step back? I think both of those seats are going to be open. I don't think Giovinazzi gets signed back, and I think Kimi's going to step away.
There's talks that Kimi's going to do another year.
I can't. I mean, he must really love racing or really hate his home life. It's one of the two.
I would probably say he loves the racing.
I would agree
because he's been around for a long time, and
he just doesn't seem like a guy that wants to be in a backpack for too long. And how much longer is he going to stick around? I mean, can he compete for the next 4 years? Because that's at this point, that's what you have to stick around for. That's the way I look at it.
It's no different than Fernando coming back. I mean, he's up there in years too.
That's true. But that's the way I look at this. Is if you're going to sign back with a team, then that team needs to be invested in you for their first stage of the new regulations, or to get this driver, maybe just sign that one more year for him to finish out the old regulations. But at that point, it doesn't make sense for Kimi as a world champion. And like you said, maybe he just loves racing so much and wants to get behind the wheel that he's okay running anywhere in the field.
And, it could also be, too, you live this lifestyle for so long.
He doesn't know what to do with that.
You're used to traveling to these different countries, these races. You're used to being out there on that grid and just living that F1 lifestyle. That, so it could be a combination of him still wanting to race and, that lifestyle.
Right.
So, at this point, if it was me, I would, all right, I'm done after this year.
Right, that's the way I'd look at it.
I've got nothing left to prove, but like I just said, it if that's what you're used to, and because he's raced F1 for how many years now?
20.
Probably.
I was gonna say he's closing in on, if not 20, I mean at least 15.
Right. So that's been your life for all these years. It's hard to walk away.
Right, absolutely there. So I don't know. I think that just kind of opens up the Alfa Romeo talk. So I think, in my mind, if that one seat's open in Alfa Romeo, because Giovinazzi I don't think is going to be there. So
no.
If Kimi stays, he gets that seat. If Giovinazzi does not get re-signed, I think we see Mick Schumacher step into that Alfa Romeo seat next year.
Okay.
Okay. They've been kind of chatting about that there. I think both of the Haas seats are going to open up.
I agree with that, yeah.
So there opens another seat for Perez to go to. But do you want to go to a team? Again, that's where Perez would have to say, I'll go here this year, but you guys have to be invested in the new regulations. You've got to give me a car to really push forward and do something with. You know what I'm saying?
And I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't see Haas being that team.
And I would kind of agree with you there, but they're going to give him the money.
Yeah.
And he may go after that. Another option for that Haas seat is Nico Hülkenberg. You've seen him take a year off. He come back,
ran this year.
Right. I could see him coming back and taking over that Hamilton just pulled away 2 seconds on the last lap. The guy's impressive.
That would be a solid driver to fill one of those seats, though.
Right.
Like I said, I was shocked that nobody tried to pick Hülkenberg up when Renault let him go.
I think it was just so late in the year, and everybody,
because he's a consistent driver.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't have a bunch of podiums or wins or anything like that, but if you want a driver that's going to bring the car home and give you some good feedback, to where if you had a young driver that you're trying to develop and you had Nico Hülkenberg, you got that guy that's going to give you good input on the car. He's going to kind of help this young driver. And like I said, he's going to bring the car home in one piece 9 times out of 10.
Right.
So
absolutely. I'm trying to think who else then we have. So Albon, I don't think Kvyat gets re-signed at AlphaTauri. They've taken him down. They didn't want him in that Red Bull seat. He hasn't produced like Gasly has in the AlphaTauri. I don't think he gets re-signed there. So there's another Haas. So it could be Nico and
if I was Perez and I had my choice between going to Haas, Williams, or AlphaTauri, I'd take the AlphaTauri ride. I think once the new regulations come in,
that's where
it's going to be a decent team.
Yeah, because that's a Ferrari-backed team, correct? Yeah. So they're gonna
Scuderia AlphaTauri.
So they're going to, no, AlphaTauri is
Honda.
Red Bull.
Yeah, it's Honda.
But Ferrari with.
But the team's called Scuderia AlphaTauri.
That's. Oh yeah. I'm with you. But the Alfa Romeo. That's a Ferrari.
That's a Ferrari-backed team.
So when this money switches hands and Ferrari can't put it all into one basket, does that help that kind of secondary team there? Do they kind of weigh each other out there, and does that make that option become a very kind of pretty or what's the word I'm looking for? Convincing ride?
I think that when the new regulations and you have these satellite teams like this, like with Scuderia Ferrari, and then you have Alfa Romeo, okay, and you have a budget you have to work on, that's where Ferrari needs to step up and tell them, say, hey, look, I know you guys have to develop your chassis and everything like that. How about if we just throw all our money in a pot? You can use our facilities. We'll design the chassis. We'll have a good motor. You're not going to get the exact same chassis that we have, but, we're going to give you close, kind of like how Racing Point and Mercedes are right now. But, that's the way I would go about it. If you want to be the most competitive, that'd be the best way to do it.
The chassis are all going to be, I think it's going to be like IndyCar when it comes to chassis.
It is. Yeah, so they all have to run the same chassis.
It's going to be your
motor.
Power. Yeah, exactly. So I really think that it becomes a very enticing ride for somebody in that situation. Especially, here's another question. Does Mick Schumacher find himself at Alpha and stay there? Because it's such an enticing ride. I mean, we're looking into the future here, but that Ferrari background is so strong in that family. But yet, if the regulations work like they should, and that what we're saying does happen, he can find himself very comfortable behind that and want to stay there with the team.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Ferrari's supplying the good enough power for the team, and
everybody wants that Schumacher name back with Ferrari.
Yeah.
So,
and I think in the long run, because his father Michael, he didn't start out in Ferrari; he started out in a Benetton.
Correct,
and he won his first championship.
Right.
And then he ended up moving to Ferrari, and I want to say, did he step away for a year or two, and then he come back and ran Mercedes?
Mercedes, yeah. What was it before Sauber? And then Mercedes bought Sauber?
No, was that the Braun team?
Braun.
It was Braun. It was Braun.
I think you're correct. So I think he stepped in with them for 1 year, and then Mercedes.
He was straight in Mercedes because
it was
because they dangled enough money in front of him. I mean, what better driver to have develop your car?
That's exactly what that was.
And that's
for.
what it was. They wanted Michael to get in there and develop the
Schumacher,
car.
Correct?
He had some good runs,
but he didn't finish in
the car wasn't as dominant as it is now.
Exactly right. So that's like you said. Look at those tires. That's like you said. Just excuse me. Absolute. The point of that was definitely to bring in the kind of the help in setting up that car, like you said. So,
but
to give it the dominance that it has now.
And going back to having a Schumacher at Ferrari, I could see him coming into that Alpha team, and what if a few years down the road, either Sainz or Leclerc's out at Ferrari, you bring Mick in, as long as Mick's producing results at Alpha,
right? And
ultimately, I can see him in a Ferrari. I mean, that's like you said, Schumacher and Ferrari, those names go, it's synonymous.
Right. Absolutely there. So I guess you got anything else, F1?
No.
So we'll move on to the more favorable of ours, at least, style of open wheel racing here. We talked about it already a little. Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Moving to Ganassi.
JJ.
Moving to a 4-car team. So I asked this on the page here. What do you think? Do you think this kind of takes away from the progression that we've seen in Felix and Marcus here?
No, because you figure now, next year, that'll be Felix's 3rd year in IndyCar, and that'll be Marcus's 4th year, correct?
3rd.
They're both on the same year? Okay. I thought Marcus was in a year before. But, so both of them will have 3 years. And Marcus has really shown some good runs this year.
Right.
Felix has had some ups and downs.
Yep.
But I don't think bringing Jimmy Johnson in disrupts the team whatsoever. I mean, it's Chip Ganassi Racing. They got Dario there. It's the team principal. I think they stay true just like they are now.
So you don't think Dario's focus sort of goes to helping Johnson?
No, okay. Not at all. At all.
Johnson understands the car, I think, well enough to where he's going to need some help from Dario when it comes to how do I get around these guys?
I think him and Dixon I think he'll really lean on Dixon.
I can see, and Dixon kind of working with him better than he does the younger guy.
Well, and Dixon knows, hey, this guy's a multi-time champion.
Exactly.
He's a racer. So I think them guys will really hit it off and have a pretty tight bond, and kind of that'll be Jimmy's go-to guy right there.
And I could see that, and then hopefully that does keep the focus on from Dario to the two younger guys on that team, because I could really see if they're able to progress this and really do well with this. Number one, it's bringing moolah.
Oh yeah.
Team.
Yeah.
Ganassi's eyes went cha-ching when he was able to get him, because sponsors are going to throw themselves at Jimmy Johnson in an IndyCar. It's going to be he's going to run 21st in his first race, and the camera's going to be on Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, he's going to have an onboard camera first race.
Oh, 100%. I mean, no question. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
You're six-time NASCAR champ. Yeah, you're going to have a camera. It's like when the F1 guys, Fernando, this year in the 500. You were really no better than a 20th place car.
No.
But yet you got a camera on board because you're Fernando Alonso.
Yep.
So absolutely, I think this brought tons of money to that Ganassi Foundation.
And not even just bringing tons of money to Ganassi. It's bringing, the spotlight on IndyCar.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. So not to move to NASCAR because I want to stick to IndyCar, but what this does open up is Jimmy Johnson. He said, I want to run 15 races next year. He's scheduled for 12 in the IndyCar series.
He's going to run the 500.
No, I don't think so.
I really think he does.
I really don't think so. I really don't think Johnson. He is so stern on it. He has been stern since day one. But what I do, he's going to run the Daytona 500 for Chip Ganassi. And that is going to be weird. He's going to run.
That's going to ruffle some feathers.
Oh, yeah. He's going to run the Coca-Cola 600, I think, because that's the day of the Indy 500. I could see that. And maybe
I don't know if he'll do the double.
No, he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna run the 500. So I think he's gonna do the Coca.
That's right.
He's convinced over here, people, that Johnson. He's like got insider information here. So no, that's
I just don't see how if you want to come run IndyCar, how do you not want to run the Indy 500?
Because he's stepping into the sport at 40 years old. Like he said,
I understand that.
In the interview I saw, he was even saying that, hey, I get that this is the biggest race. And if I would have got into this sport when I was 20 years old, I'm not missing it for the life of me. But now that I'm 40, I got a wife, I got 3 kids, I'm good. Yeah. I don't need it. I don't need to prove to myself that I'm a driver. I want to do this on road and street course. This is what I want to do. So, but with that said, does the Ganassi call on an old friend and say, hey, you want to do a good farewell season? You want to run the ovals that Johnson isn't? You want to help him out in this car?
Who, TK?
TK.
I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think so?
No.
The car's open there. You're going to bring sponsors. I think sponsors, again, I think Tony Kanaan, if he was to go out next year after what happened this year, I think sponsors would be easier to find for him. And not only that, but to say that they are going to share the car together, man.
Yeah,
man.
I don't see it happening. I could be wrong, but I don't see him coming back to Ganassi. I mean, because
do they fill a car for that, or do they just run that car for the?
I think they'll just run it for the street and road courses.
Okay, so now here's my next question: does Ganassi, after this 2-year deal with Johnson is over, continue a 4-car team, or do they just collect the money and back it back down to 3? Because that's what I think they're going to do. Take money and run.
I think it's going to depend on what driver opportunities he has at that point. If there's really some driver that he's after, a younger driver or a veteran driver that he really wants to put in that seat and is available, I can see him keeping the 4-car team, because Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan's talking about adding another car.
Well, they still got to sign Takumo.
Right.
So at this point, like that's what they said. Their number one deal. They want him next to Green.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like that's a real good pairing.
But they're talking about they're definitely wanting to get a 3rd-car team. I mean, they had 3 cars at the 500, but they're talking about running a full season 3-car team. So I think you're going to see a lot more teams moving to that 3-4-car team now. I mean, you're going to have to compete with I mean, hell, Andretti fields, 6 cars for the 500?
That's what they used to say, though, and then Ganassi backs down to a 2-car team, and he's still dominant with Dixon. So,
but, even right now, he's got a 3-car team still dominant with Dixon.
Exactly. So why?
And I don't see the 4th car, like I said, I don't see it disrupting anything. And I think
if you look in the past, though, Ganassi, anytime he stacked his cars deep, his performance has fell. Now, I don't think Dixon is going to let that performance fall, but when Dixon steps away, if you're still a 4-car team, that's when I see that kind of disruption. Now, I think Dixon stays with the team in some facade, but that's where I don't think Dixon is he's not a backbone. He is a steel foundation beam. I mean, he is the heart of that Ganassi foundation. You'd have a hard time telling me otherwise. I understand the engineer that he got this year has put him above and beyond now. But still, I mean, you take away Dixon from that equation, and I really think you need to back to a 3-car, 2-car team.
No, I will agree with that. If you don't have Dixon there, that's going to hurt the day that Dixon decides to hang it up.
It's not too far away.
It's not.
What is he, 41 years old?
Yeah. I mean, you got lucky when Dario decided he was hanging it up. You had Dixon there to keep the torch going.
Absolutely right.
Right now, at Ganassi, and I'm not, I like Felix and I like Marcus, but I don't see either one of those guys at this point being that Scott Dixon.
I can see Felix
coming into that role, but he still has some things to prove.
The one downfall that Felix has in this step or in this stage
is
his age. Everybody else got into IndyCar when they were 18, 19, 20 years old. Felix got into it when he was 28.
Right.
So he's a little older to step into IndyCar. So that progression that a lot of these guys were able to have before, he wasn't able. So he was, they say people are tossed into the deep end. Now, he was a driver. He drove many different cars, but he was tossed into the middle of the deepest part of the ocean. And they said, hey, just run this thing. And I really think that if he stays consistent, if he stays strong there and learns from Dario and Scott, that he can take that torch when it's given. But I think that a lot of the focus is given to Dixon on that team.
And then, with Marcus, unless he really starts producing some big-time results, I can see in a couple years he's not going to be there.
Right now, I don't see anybody that is better than Ericsson, honestly, that could take over and run that car as consistent as he has. For what he's done with it. Connor makes those little mistakes that at times that.
But I think the reason he does do that, with him not having a full-time ride. I mean, yes, he has a ride for every race this season, but not technically a full-time ride with one team. I think if he got signed to a team like Ganassi or something like that, that would take a lot of pressure off. I think he goes out there and he tries so hard to produce results to where he can get that full-time ride that he does make mistakes. I think he's trying that hard, and that's why he makes some of these mistakes. So you give him that big deal with a Ganassi or a Andretti or somebody like that, I think you're going to see that calm down a lot, and you're really going to see even a better driver out of Connor Daly.
And that's possible there. Pressure does put a big part on a lot of, but that also comes down to how you're going to drive the car when you're going into a championship, and that last race is depending on that, because that's why they call Dixon the Iceman.
Jason, to answer your question, I personally would love to see Kyle Busch run Indy. Will it ever happen? I would like to think yes.
I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be next year because of the excitement that is building towards this next Indianapolis 500 with what happened this year. If we run in May with fans, I'd say if, you never know, but if we run in May with fans, I think the allure to this year's 500 will be almost bigger than the 100th running, because you're still running off that momentum from the 100th running. I mean, you're still putting a lot of people in that.
And then look at it this way too.
Penske up that money is going to be bigger next year.
If Kyle Busch did decide to come run Indy, and we all seen Cole Pern engineer for Connor Daly this year at Indy. If my memory serves me correct, didn't Cole Pern and Kyle Busch work together at one point in NASCAR?
That I just remember Cole Pern with Truex.
I know he was, but I want to say at one point,
if
anybody
away,
out there knows,
wasn't a good exit.
if anybody out there knows for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that Cole Pern and Kyle Busch worked together in either Xfinity or on Gibbs or some. I think at one point in their career they worked together.
I would think if they stepped away, then
no,
away from Kyle, unless they switch teams.
And I mean, there's a lot of we've seen it within these teams. There's a lot of juggling of crew chiefs. If somebody's not running as good, hey, let's switch up crew chiefs and put him here and him here. So I wouldn't necessarily say. Jarrett Murphy says he don't believe they did work together. Okay, I don't know why. I was thinking at some capacity they worked together in some series, but I don't know why.
But I think that would be, I mean, we've talked about those guys from NASCAR. And Johnson's going to have a little hold of these guys. He's going to be talking to them still. He's going to say, guys, this is fun. You got to try this. So this could open up kind of that back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, when you had a lot of guys kind of like or maybe 70s even, when Al Unser Jr., those guys moving into NASCAR. Guys from NASCAR moving over to Indy, kind of running a few races here and there. We see it with Hanley. Yeah, oh yeah. Is it Hanley?
I wish you guys could see this right now. Yes.
That's running the duels there. So I think maybe that kind of opens up the option here for him. He's going to show you something here if it picks it up. That's what the ghost did when he blew him into the wall.
That's Daniel's axle.
Whoopsie.
But I mean, you look at IndyCar and midgets and sprint cars back in the day. If you were the hot shoe in midgets and sprint cars and stuff like that, more than likely you were going to come run IndyCar.
Right.
Now over the years it went to more. You went to NASCAR.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Which, not to keep beating a dead horse, I would love to see somebody step up and offer Kyle Larson an IndyCar contract. Say, hey,
I agree.
Come run IndyCar, and I really think I think Kyle.
What about Carl though?
Carl Larson, that's his twin brother.
Oh, Carl Edwards in IndyCar.
Right.
That's what I thought you were.
But
I
would love to see Kyle Larson in IndyCar, and I think he would be a heart attack on an oval in an IndyCar.
Oh, and that would be the I'm trying to think of the way I'm trying to put this, because you get a oval track in an IndyCar that gets a little slick.
Kyle Larson would be all over it.
That's what I'm thinking. Either that or he'd be dangerous, because I don't know if you catch it the same way you do a stock car in a midget, but that I'd like to see it. I mean, we saw some of the, like, look at Clausen. He was making that move before the unfortunate incident there.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the other one?
Rich Vogler.
No, more recent. Wilson.
Oh, yes, Justin Wilson.
He was another one on dirt. He was pretty good on dirt, and he moves over and that accident at Pocono. So, I mean, we started to see kind of that move, but that's where Larson understands open wheel. I mean, I think you need that. I think Busch might be a little scary. He's a racer, but the moves that he makes might really tick people off in IndyCar.
Yeah, Jarrett Murphy's got a good point. Gordon turned the tides on that when because Jeff Gordon around here, he was the man when it came to running midgets, sprint cars, all that. I mean, he dominated around here and dominated, nationwide. Where whatever he was in a midget or a sprint, he was probably going to win. And then, did the deal and signed and started running Busch, because it was Busch cars at that time. That was a Baby Ruth car.
I really wonder why he never tried the Indy 500. There was we talk about a driver that so many people wanted to see running the Indianapolis 500, and he even talked about wanting to do it. It's like, I know you could find her. Hendrick would have put a one-car entry in for you, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, I think he was just so focused in NASCAR And he knew that was his. I got to put my focus here. I can't step it away. And now he's older. He's got a family. Once he retired, everybody kind of opened that idea back up.
He didn't have millions of dollars it takes to open wheel. Back then, when he was making the transfer, no, he didn't. But his stepfather was vice president of Pepsi Cola.
I did not know that.
Because if you remember right, back in the day around here, when he first started running Busch, and he was still running midgets and sprint cars, and he lived in Pittsboro, Indiana, and he got pulled over a few times for underage alcohol consumption and driving.
Whoopsie.
And at that point, when he was running Busch, Baby Ruth was talking about pulling their sponsorship for him getting in trouble for that stuff. And that's when it's actually his stepdad stepped in and said, hey, if Baby Ruth pulls a sponsorship, we'll put Pepsi on the car. We'll be all right.
Well, it kind of worked out for him.
Yeah.
Unfortunate accident there, but right. That was, absolutely. And that was when IndyCar, you could put some money into it because you had 3 different chassis, you had different tires, you had
motor options.
Right,
I mean,
absolutely. So more money in NASCAR.
At that time it was.
Right, absolutely. Oh yeah, because that was probably I'm not going to say the unsafest time, but you see a lot of deaths in that time when Gordon is coming into that big style of racing in open wheel. I mean, that's right around Senna. That's right around Brack. That's right around. And
at that time, NASCAR was really gaining their momentum because that's right around when IndyCar was getting ready to do their split, and you still had Dale Earnhardt running. You still had
Bill Elliott. That rivalry.
Bill Elliott.
Right,
you had Richard Petty. You still had Darrell Waltrip. You still had Rusty Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you still had all the big names in NASCAR. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, at that time when Gordon come in, that was the best move for him he could have made.
Mark Martin.
Bobby and Terry Labonte.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, you can keep it going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, man, that was some fun racing right there. That really was. I didn't realize this, not to just skip around here, but did you see when Richard Petty led the field around that they had to black flag him?
Huh?
He wouldn't pull off the track.
All right.
He took him around 2 extra pace laps, and they're like, "You gotta pull off, dude."
He's an overachiever.
Yeah, exactly. He's having so much fun. I thought that was awesome there. So, but I'm trying to think here. We got any other IndyCar news yesterday? Well-deserved win there. Yeah.
And I really thought Graham was going to get that third away from Rossi. He was running down. He had more push to pass left, and
he just overdrove it.
No, they both got to the point where their back tires were shot because even at Rossi was drifting through some of the turns.
Yeah, I did see that.
And Graham was trying to get him, and then you could just see when he was coming off turns, he was getting tire spin, and pretty good race. I like Mid Ohio. I think it's a great track, and I'm excited to watch him go again today. Yeah, it was a great race.
Yeah, he was at Grand Marshington at Darlington 2 years ago. I saw a video this week, and he wouldn't pull off there.
Okay.
I thought that was good. What were we just discussing there? I completely lost track.
I did too.
Fantastic. So, IndyCar yesterday there, that's what Will Power really deserved that win. Really, and we talked about this before the show, is he really, when Will Power needs to win, Will Power gets to win.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that completely put the nail in the coffin for his contract there at Penske, but I mean, we look at Simon, he's not producing like he was last year, and both of these guys,
Simon's had a rough year.
Both of these guys are on the bubble, so you watch Simon today, he could come out and really fire away pretty hard here.
He needs to. He needs a strong run. And we've discussed it before. Anytime a driver like that, and Will and Simon both, the season they've had so far, you go out and get a win that really regains your confidence. You get enthusiastic again. Because when you're out there struggling and not having good races week in, week out, it's like, you don't even want to go race. You're just like, okay, whatever. But once you get that once you get that race win, then you're like, yeah, let's go. And then you're pumped.
Right. Especially, and that helps going into a doubleheader. And what he said afterwards was, I went on my strategy here today, and I just wanted to push the whole race. He's like, I didn't want to have to save for tires. I didn't want to have to save for fuel. I told myself I was just going to push all day, and that's what I did, and I won it. So I think we'll see that same kind of approach here today from Willpower. And like I said, I think this puts the flame under Pagano's rear end to really get something done, because Newgarden's not out.
Right. And I would say keep an eye on Graham again today. Graham runs
hungry.
good at Mid-Ohio. He's hungry.
Graham is hungry.
I mean, his teammate won the Indy 500, and then the week after that, he won one of the races in the doubleheader.
Exactly. And that's what I think is a good balance here at Ray Hall Letterman, because you've got Graham's not bad at ovals, but he
Sato's better.
Exactly. And he performs much better. Graham does.
Street and road courses.
Exactly. Because Sato can be a little dangerous.
Kamikaze.
Yeah, that's where he can get a little. He's going to try to outbreak you extremely, where he just needed to kind of outbreak you. So that's where people give Sato a hard time. But I think that's a great pair there that those guys have together with each other.
Right. So I think that's all for IndyCar.
Yeah, that's not new.
Oh,
if that's what you're looking at, I haven't taken that down yet. So
moving on.
Another race today. So I think 2:30, 3:30. So,
and we'll do some picks on that later.
Oh yeah.
But moving on, we'll discuss a little iRacing too. We got tonight. We got Pricks to Pavement tonight.
Yep.
Starting next Sunday, Slide Job Sunday fires back up.
It returns after a season off.
We got a new track this week, new dirt track this week on iRacing.
Have you raced that one yet?
I haven't been on it yet.
I bought Weedsport.
I bought it too.
I'm going to broadcast a race from Weedsport probably here in the next week or two. Somebody's going to be like, hey, can you broadcast this dirt? Yeah, no problem. We got Weedsport. There was a new, what was the rally course that they put out?
I did not know they did.
It starts with a C. Oh my gosh, it looks fantastic. And then was there a Nashville? They brought out Nashville, the fairgrounds.
Okay.
So pretty interesting little week there of updates. They've got the new Dallara.
I've seen that.
Which is,
they have the new C8R, which I already bought it.
Absolutely. Have you ran that yet?
Not yet, but I did buy it.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to check out.
I want to take it to Road America and try it.
I heard a lot of grumblings, if you will, about people, because did you see iRacing gave a few things for free then?
Yes.
So, guys, if what they're doing, I see what they're doing. Like, you can't be mad if you bought that already. I mean, you've raced it, you've had plenty of time with it, because some of these cars just became available for free. Like Lanier, the track, I think is what it was, just became available for free. The modifieds just became available. I bought them before. I mean, I get it, but I guess at that point, if you're not going to race it a lot, don't buy it.
Right.
Until it becomes archived or something. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I don't think you can blame iRacing. They're doing a good job trying to improve their platform. I think the officials have cleaned up, but I'm kind of in that mid-tier. I'm not in the top because I've heard those can kind of get nasty, and I'm not at the bottom where guys don't know what they're doing. So I feel like that middle pack there is pretty clean right now in official racing. Have you done any officials lately?
No, I haven't, but I did run Pricks of Pavement Thursday night for the man.
You're all over.
Yeah. Developmental series. We were at Bristol. All in all, pretty clean race.
Yeah.
Except for, people are just attracted to my car. So speaking of that, if anybody on here does paints and wants to do me something just wild with our logos on it, I'll advertise your business for a month free on the show. Because I gotta change cars. Everybody likes to hit my
the black one.
Yeah. But anyways, for the most part, it was a clean race, some good racing. Daniel ends up bringing home third.
Yeah, exactly.
Timmy Trowbridge second, and a guy that we were getting ready to, we were practicing. I think qualifying was getting ready to start. This guy hops in he hops in Discord. Hey, can I join your all's race? And they're like, yeah. He goes, I tried joining the league and it hasn't accepted me yet. So they got on there like, oh, you should be good now. So he jumps in at the last minute, goes out, qualifies, lays down a good lap, and then wins.
Nice.
Which actually Travis Butt won, I believe. But he changed lanes on the restart, so he ended up getting 5th, I believe.
Yep, falling back there. So it's been pretty clean racing here lately. We got the ECRS there in playoff mode in the truck series. So
and those guys run clean. That's a good series.
So Thursday night we're running, and it's at Mossport. At the trucks are.
Right.
A lot of these guys are oval racers.
Right.
They don't do the best at the road courses. So naturally, Thomas is up front by a good amount. He understands road courses. He gets it. So Downing's behind him. I'm saying on the broadcast, man, Thomas just has to beat himself at this point. Well, Thomas looks down and thought it was a 40-lap race instead of a 30-lap race, and he was pushing. He thought everybody was going to have to pit. So he pushes it to the point where it is it's low on fuel. Downing's been saving, trying to conserve, and he's thinking to himself, man, I don't know, with Thomas that far out there, like where my gas is, Thomas is going to be out. This could get bad here for Thomas. It could get real good for me. Thomas ends up pitting. I'm watching Thomas's in-car. We're sitting there in the in-car, and all of a sudden I'm just, no, I hear him slow down. He's going to the pits. It's like, oh, no, he's going to run out of gas. So he ends up 4 seconds behind Downing with 3 laps left, and he couldn't catch him. So Downing ends up taking that ECRS truck win. So really interesting race there. Kind of not a mistake you often see by Thomas there.
No, he's usually pretty solid.
Right, absolutely. So that was pretty interesting to watch there. I need to start watching more of the NASCAR, the official stuff that they got going on. They did a kind of a radioactive deal with them. Did you see that at all?
No.
That was kind of interesting. These guys, you don't see them as really. You don't see a lot of their personalities, if you will, on iRacing. With you see more of the dirt guys' personality on iRacing than you do the asphalt guys. And these guys are talking crap about each other in the cars, and it was pretty interesting to kind of see that side of them there. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else iRacing wise. We got the Elite Racing Leagues. They're on their IndyCar series now. We got a week off this week. We're back at it next week, I think, at Road America. So that should be fun. That's the one with Robert McGinnis. He's in that. Robert Wickens is in that. So that's pretty fun one to call there. So that's sweet.
That's pretty cool.
That is little skins there for the wheels. I've seen some people do the Logitech, like a Dale Earnhardt skin or Jeff Gordon skin, stuff like that.
One too.
That is cool. So I'm trying to think. Is there anything else?
No, I think we hit pretty much everything.
So it's the time of the week where we will make our checkers and wreckers picks of the week. I want you guys to follow along with us here, and you want this is for the IndyCar race here.
Yep.
So
at Mid-Ohio,
I'm gonna pick your checker, somebody you think's going to do pretty good, if not win. Going to pick your wrecker, not necessarily wreck, but you know the case, not necessarily do as good as they should. And then a dark horse, and the dark horse is somebody that maybe fallen back a little, hasn't performed to their knowledge, or not their knowledge, but their ability, and or a lower tier team there that you think is going to perform pretty well here today. And I will get it all started.
I think I got some solid picks today.
And my checker pick here today, it's been a while since I picked this man, but he performed well yesterday. He got a top 3. I'm going to go with him. I think he's going to do something. He's hungry as Graham. I'm going to go with Alexander Rossi.
Rossi for your checker, huh? Well, and it's funny you mentioned my checker in that sentence. I'm going to take Graham Rahal for my checker.
I think that's a solid pick there, right there. So right there. I think that's a solid pick right there. So we'll see how these guys pull out today. Go to pick the Wreckers, and I'm gonna go with Newgarden here today. Just I don't know exactly where he finished yesterday, but competing in this,
I think it was top 10.
Competing in this title to close that gap within Dixon. He really needs a solid top 5 today. I don't think he gets that. I'm going to go with Newgarden.
And I'm going to go with his teammate, Simon Pagino. We talked about him earlier. He's just not having a good season. He didn't have a good day yesterday. He's just struggling right now.
Yep. So it'd be interesting to see if these guys can pick it up here. And then we go with the dark horse picks. And, man, this is a hard one to pick here today.
I got a good one.
My dark horse, I mean, I don't think you can pick Graham as a dark horse anymore.
Nah.
I mean, let's go. Okay, dark horse. It's a Ganassi car, but I think Marcus Erickson is going to have a good showing here today.
Okay. I'm going with the youngster. He had a good day, solid day yesterday. Renus VK.
Did you hear him when he passed?
Woo! That was a move, though. That was a move. He hung it out there. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he did.
And just motored on by him. He was like, woo!
Yeah.
That was great.
That was good.
He's really turned his season around.
He has, and I will say that. So I think that's a solid pick there as well. I think it's an interesting race here today. I think they're about to qualify. They may already just finish qualifying. So we'll have to check out that. But as far as that goes, I think we are done for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here today.
Oh, it's already over.
Who got the poll?
I'm looking right now.
You can check us out at www.bwsports1 as the numeral.com. And again, it's www.bwsports1.com.
Is that right?
Check, yeah, that www.
No, I'm talking about this lineup.
Then you can check.
Says Colton Herta, Santino Ferrucci, Scott Dixon, Alex Pillow, Felix, Simon Pagino, Marco, Ryan Hunter-Ray, Joseph Newgarden, Rossi 10th.
Wow.
VK 11th, Graham 12th, Erickson 15th, Will Power 17th, Pato's 21st.
Be an interesting one today. We're going to see some climbing through the field there. So, yeah, as always, check out the sponsors. We got ButtKicker. We got Auralex, making this sound so clean, clear, and crisp. We've also got First Financial Bank and Shawn.nugent, the Rockstar Realtor. Check out all those guys. And Driving for Dyslexia, they've been helping us out a lot down there.
I've seen that.
There, so.
And don't forget, is it a Bruzy?
A Bruzy Racewear, absolutely. I can't wait. We are that close to that thing coming in. I cannot wait to put that on, strap that. A Bruzy Racewear on, not just for out on the track. Actually, if you want, if you wear gloves.
I do.
I wear gloves.
I wear shoes too.
I need my steering wheel and gloves. Steering wheel and gloves. That's what I think every time.
I might have to hit him up and see if he can do some gloves and shoes to match whatever skin I decide to put on my wheel.
There you go. Absolutely. So yeah, check them out at Bruzy Racewear USA.com, and thank you guys so much for tuning in here today to Checkers and Wreckers. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Once again, if you do iRacing wraps or skins and would like to do a NASCAR for me, hit me up.
Right on. You guys have a fantastic day.